Hey everybody, I'm Debbie Bellis with Feel Good Qigong, and today I want to talk to you about breathing. Now, breathing, of course, is something we just naturally do. We don't give too much thought to it, but actually, we need to give a little bit more thought to it because the breathing process, the mechanics of the breathing, is really important to understand. Because most of us probably just breathe from our upper chest, and that's just because for lots of different reasons, which I'll talk about. But when you're born, the breath is very full. When you look at a baby breathing or a young child breathing, they breathe from their whole chest cavity, from their whole rib cage. It's not so much it's going up and down, but it's also going out to the side. We have this rib cage that also wraps around to the back of our body, and in the rib cage houses our lungs, all of our organs, and our diaphragm. Now, the diaphragm is a muscle, and it's the number one muscle for breathing, and it's very underutilized. Again, we mostly breathe from our upper chest because just from aging, from getting older, from just living life, we are more in this like kind of feeling all the time from stress, and we stop to breathe. We stop breathing from the diaphragm. What happens when you stop breathing from the diaphragm? Well, you're not getting the full amount of oxygen that you need to replenish your body on a daily basis. So the idea is really getting to understand this muscle of the diaphragm. So it looks like a dome, and it sits. If you look for your ribs, the bottom of your ribs, and once you find the bottom of your ribs, that's where this dome-like muscle sits. It sits right at the bottom of your rib cage. And when you inhale, it goes through the nose down into the esophagus, and it goes down into the diaphragm where we want to be breathing, like I had mentioned. Once you activate that diaphragm, as you inhale, that diaphragm will expand and go down a little bit further from your ribs. And that balloon shape, that pressure will then bring air into the lungs. The lungs will expand like balloons. So lungs look like a balloon, and when they get air in them, they expand, right? And you get that oxygen in. Then as you exhale, that diaphragm that just dropped down will go back into that rib cage, goes up, and then it pushes all the air out. And that's how you exhale out. So think of this diaphragm, this muscle that's underutilized, sitting right inside that chest cavity in that rib cage. As you inhale, it drops down a little bit, it expands, so you get the full breath of the whole respiration area. And then you breathe in, and then it'll lift up the air, the oxygen, it expands your lungs into the balloons. And then as you exhale, then the diaphragm will slip back up into the bottom of the ribs, and then that air pushes out the exhalation out of you. So getting used to breathing this way, the best way you can understand this is when you take a deep breath in, can you feel your rib cage expanding? That's what you want to feel. You want to feel this rib cage expanding as you're inhaling and then as you're exhaling. Now, ribs are bones, but in between the ribs, you have intercostal muscles. And that's what actually expands out the ribs. That's why you see when somebody's breathing and they're breathing correctly, you'll see this whole rib cage expanding and the belly expands. So when people tell you breathe from your belly, it's really not so much the belly as it is this diaphragm muscle. What other great benefits is there to this? Well, because this diaphragm moves up and down as you inhale and exhale, it creates a massage for your internal organs. We have our liver is the second largest organ of our body. It weighs about 3 pounds. It looks like a football, and it sits right behind that diaphragm. And so if you're moving, behind the liver is your gallbladder. So if you're moving every time you inhale and exhale, you're moving this diaphragm up and down. Now you're massaging the liver, you're massaging your gallbladder, and then the spleen, and also your digestive system. So it's giving a really great massage for all your internal organs, which we want. The other benefit, breathing fully and deeply into the diaphragm, is it calms down the nervous system because you're taking a deeper breath in. You're getting more oxygen into the cells. It starts to calm the body down. And then, especially if you learn how to breathe at a resting rate, which is inhale for 5, exhale for 5, then you're breathing slower and you're breathing deeper and fuller, which is going to turn on your parasympathetic nervous system, which creates a chemical reaction to start producing dopamine, serotonin, all the good hormones that make you feel good. So that's the other benefit to learning how to breathe deep into this diaphragm. It'll also help calm down your nervous system, which will help with inflammation. It'll help you live a much longer life, a much healthier, longer life. So really get to understand the diaphragm breathing. When you breathe, you can practice this. It's really nice to practice this on a floor or a couch because it's easier to feel the ribs. Find your ribs first, find where they are. And then just imagine that diaphragm sitting right there. And then as you inhale, I want you to feel your ribs expanding from the back, from the front, from the sides, and also from the back of the ribs. And if you've got that rib action moving, then you're doing diaphragmatic breathing. I hope this helps. I'm going to do another little video on how to keep those ribs moving and opened and stretched. And that'll also help to engage this deeper diaphragmatic breath. Thank you so much. I hope you have a really great feel-good day. Thank you.